18. All right. Welcome, everybody. It's the beginning of a new month, relatively the beginning of it. And so we're going to talk about something you could do to market to your database, to market on social media, to market to the world that might increase your the people's perception of what's going on with you and how much you know. Anyhow, I'm not saying it well, but how to make a market update. And I'm going to be showing you what I would be doing, what I do, and I'm going to share some of the things that we provide for our team, and I'm going to share where you can get more information on how to do these things. And what I'm going to start by doing is in the chat to everyone, I'm going to text in a link to a Google document. And by the way, some of you, if you're willing to help out, people will be joining later. They'll be complaining they don't have the link. So if somebody would copy that link, and when you see people complaining they don't have the link because they were late, they were tardy, right? Go ahead and paste it in for them because, you know, we're real estate agents and we're often tardy. All right. So I'm going to go through that document. I'm going to show you how to use the MLS. But let's just start with why is this useful, important, and how is it going to make you any money? Right? Those are always I think the relevant questions. How many of you thought that getting into real estate was going to be easy, right? You get your real estate license, you go past the test, right? You can put your license on the wall someplace, right? And then you wait. And people come by and they drop off money, right? Isn't that how the business works, right? You put your license on the wall and people drop off money. And then you find out there's a whole bunch of steps in between getting your license and actually getting any money. And the first thing you have to do is to have conversations with people about real estate. The thing about real estate, which is true for virtually all sales, is you're paid for talking to people. Right. And the more people you talk to about real estate, the more often you're going to get paid. If you only talk to some people about real estate, then you're only going to get paid some. Right. But if you can talk to a lot of people about real estate, you could be paid a lot. Now, if you've let people know you're a real estate agent, and by the way, I know some of you may not have done that. Right. So there are a lot of secret agents. Right. You know, you don't want to wear a name badge. You don't want to wear a company logo because people might bother you, right, and ask you questions. And what is the question? When you admit to somebody that you're a real estate agent, what is the question they are invariably going to ask you? Does anybody know what that question is? How about, so how's the market, right? How is the market? Now, if you've got no idea what to say and you totally blow that and you say, I don't know, it's unbelievable, it's amazing, I don't really know, you know, I just get started. That's not, you know, they don't have a lot of confidence necessarily in that. So you're going to need to have an answer for the question, how is the market, right? You're going to need to have something. And by the way, if you're a new agent and you're competing against experienced agents, what is it that you could do that would have people see you as being experienced and perhaps pick you over somebody who's been in the industry for 20 years? What if there was one thing that you could do that would allow you to compete with experienced agents? And that answer is, because I know you're all waiting for it, is it's market knowledge, right? That's the thing. Because when you're able to talk to people about what's happening in the market and what's happening in the economy and what's happening with real estate, they get the idea that you know what's going on, right? And there's two parts to market knowledge. One part is what we're going to talk about today, which is how to do a market update, how to send it to people, what kinds of things should you say, where are you going to get the information. That's sort of what we're focused on today. The second thing, though, is for you to actually be looking at homes that are for sale, right? In other words, how many you should be previewing or viewing homes in your chosen market every week? How many? How about 10? How much time do you have? Right? Because when you're talking to somebody and they say, well, we're looking for a move, we're looking to move up into something bigger. And you know of a 5-bedroom, 2-story with the downstairs, it's got a full bedroom and a full bath and a half bath for the guests, and 4 bedrooms upstairs with a primary bedroom and a hall bath, and you can talk to them. Great, I saw one the other day, it looks like a really good deal, and you could describe it. You understand the fact that you can describe properties that are for sale is going to make people think that you're actually a real estate agent. Because you're actually, I call this your instant response inventory. If I said in your market, I'm looking for a 4-bedroom under my market, you're going to see my market's crazy, right? But under $1 million, right? Which, by the way, in San Jose is very difficult to find. And you say, I saw one the other day, obviously it needs a little bit of work, and you can talk about it. You understand they see you as a real estate agent, right? But if you never preview properties, right? The only house you've ever seen is yours, right? You never preview properties. You don't read anything about what's happening in real estate. You're not that curious, you don't know anything about what's going on in the market and which areas are doing well and what price ranges. It's going to be far more difficult for you to convince people to work with you. Just throwing that out. So I'm going to share, right, what I would do. Oops, and that's my, this is the thing that I shared, right? The market update, that's the document. And we're going to start with how to do an update. And where would you find information about what's going on in your market? Well, some of you might have heard of something called the multiple listing service, right? I'll bet some of you have. And so now I'm in what's called MLS Listings, which is a Bay Area, San Francisco Bay Area, multiple listing service. And it uses software that's called Matrix. I know if you are in CRMLS, which is in LA and San Diego and down there, you're using Matrix as well, right? It looks a little different, but the statistical things that I'm going to do, you can do too. It just looks a little bit different. If you're in East Bay, you're using software called Paragon. I don't have easy access to that. If you're in other areas, there's a program called Rapatoni, and Rapatoni has something called Trends. I don't have access to that because I'm not there. But I'll bet you, one, that your MLS has a phone number, right? I bet they do. And that you could call them and say, I'm looking to do market updates. Where can I find statistics? Number 2, they probably have a YouTube channel where they post these things. Number 3, they might even be on Twitter. I'm going to show you that a little bit later. But what would I do, all right, if I were going to do another market update? And I'm just letting you know, I haven't had a chance to do anything. my director of administration, Ra, who she's done useful things for this class. I haven't done anything because I've got a bunch of people on my team that have listings and are writing offers and we're in escrow. But the good news about that is that you're going to see me doing it from beginning to end, which may be interesting or not. Now notice when I'm looking at the front page of my MLS, there's this thing here that says get free AccuList trend reports every month. Free. Right? We're not going to do that. But one way you could click the easy button is by doing that, right? And you get 3, and they want you to pay money, which I also understand why. I don't like that either, because it's not like we don't pay the multiple listing service enough, right? They ought to be able to do this with us, right? Anyhow, so we're going to ignore that for now, because what we really want to do is understand what's going on in our market. Now, the first thing I would do is I'm going to go to, let me start up here. Now yours, may look different, but this is under Matrix. One of the things, and I'm just starting with this, is something called Market Watch. All right, Market Watch. Market Watch has new listings, price increases, price decreases, pending, contingent. It's got a bunch of things. It's for 7 days. You can customize it so that if you click on that, I've customized it for Santa Clara County. That's where I am. Single family condos and townhomes. Now, it won't let me do 10 and save them, but I could change that from the county to a city. I could do a zip code. I could do an MLS area, right? And by the way, sometimes if I'm really lazy, and one of the tools, I've decided to do a class pretty soon on all of the tools real estate agents need. This one is built in to Windows. It's also available in Apple in other forms, but it's a screen capture program, right? I could do something with this, right? But I'm going to show you that's something that it wouldn't hurt you to look at every day. Let's say you really wanted to know what was going on in your market, right? You really wanted to know, is the market getting stronger, weaker? Is it moving to a buyer's market? Is it moving to a seller's market? And you'd like to have your finger on the pulse, if that's the right, I don't know if that's the right thing. What I recommend that you do, and this is something you can do every day, right? And I'm going to talk about scheduling, studying. We're going to do a search for residential. We're going to click on active. And I usually throw in condos, townhomes, and single family homes. Sometimes people only do single family homes. It depends on what you're doing, right? In other words, if I was marketing to a townhouse complex, I'd be talking more about townhomes, condominiums. However, most of the market is single family homes. Notice I've clicked on active. And when I go to county, I'm going to click on Santa Clara. Oops, I might as well spell it right. Santa Clara County. All right. Now, what I'm doing is I'm looking at this number down here, 1413. By the way, if you're not an analytical type, and as soon as I open up a spreadsheet, you start going, oh God, what's he doing? I apologize. It's not as complicated. One of the guys that I work with in another company, old school, I mean, older than me school, that's pretty old. He had a piece of paper. He actually had like a legal size, yellow tablet, and with a pencil, he had written in these numbers going back several years, right? I'm not quite that motivated. But what we're going to do is we're going to say these are active listings. How many of them are there? I have short-term memory loss, which I blame on living this long. 1413. Okay, why not? 1413. Okay. So right now there's 1,413 active single-family homes, condos, and townhomes in Santa Clara County. That's not a perfectly accurate number. Why not? You might be asking. Because there may be listings in our county that are not part of the MLS Alliance. And if they're not part of the MLS Alliance, then my search won't find them. I'm going to then type in pending, and if you want to be, correct, also contingent. Most people don't know what the difference is, or care. Active contingent, oops, I did that wrong. Active contingent, T-I-N-G-E-N-Y. Active contingent means somebody's made an offer, but there's contingencies. Pending means we've removed contingencies, or there were no contingencies. For purposes of looking at the market, we don't really care, right? 1413. We're now going to go up here and select these two. And now we're going to go down and 1934. Oh, wow. 1934, enter. And then what I'm going to do, and remember a guy used to do this with a stubby pencil and a piece of paper. I don't think he even used a calculator because this isn't quite that difficult. Now I have to find this, which is, we're going to sum the two. There we go. So there's 3,340. Now, by the way, if you're reading about what is current inventory, right, in a market, what does that mean? Does that mean active listings? Does it mean active and contingent, active but contingent? Does it mean active, contingent, and pending? And the answer is it means all three of those, right? When they're talking about current inventory, they're usually referring to all three statuses, right? So the way I explained this, there are 3,347 for sale signs right now in Santa Clara County. 1,934 are under contract. 1,413 are not. Now, what I want to know is, what is the percentage, right? I want to know the percentage breakdown. And for those of you that are not math majors, I'm sorry, there will be a little bit of arithmetic. And for those of you that are, I'm sorry that this is so kindergarten type of arithmetic. But there's a formula to determine a percentage, which is called the is of rule. And that means we take an is and we divide that by the of, and we get the percentage. So what percent is 1,413 of the 3,334? So we say this cell equals this divided by, gotta find that, and we hit enter. And I then will make it a 40, and I usually get rid of the decimal places because, you know, this is just a statistical thing. Now, if that's 42%, we can kind of guess what the other one is. But for those of you that want to see it, divided by that, enter, oops, 58%. I don't know why that, yeah. 58%, that looks pretty good. So 50, by the way, 58% under contract is a relatively high number, right? I'm just saying it's a relatively high number. 42%, so the way I would explain this to people is that right now, if you drove around in Santa Clara County and you saw 144 sale signs, 58 of them have already been sold, leaving 42 of them not sold. Now, if you do this, this guy, by the way, that was next to, he had an office next to me at a different company. He would do this every day, every working day of the year. And then he would compare it to the same time last year. And he would watch what was happening with the trend. And sometimes I was early, and so was he, and he would put his head in where I was and say, did you see the inventory? You know, we lost 300 homes or we gained 100 homes. You understand those numbers and that ratio of active to pending is a pulse, taking the pulse of what's happening in the market right now today, right? And if you start to see that pendings and contingent percentage dropping, while at the same time the active percentage is increasing, that's telling you that something is going on in the market, right? You understand that there are more, that it's shifting closer towards in the buyer's market direction, right? Closer. All right. So isn't that fun? And yeah, you could put in a date, right? You could say, you know, do it once a week if you don't feel like doing it every day. And the idea is to see how are they moving and in what direction are they moving. It'll give you insight that other agents may not have because they don't know. See, I've been doing this for a little while. And the market, there are agents that'll say, oh, it's terrible for representing buyers. They can't buy anything. There's multiple offers. It's impossible. So they just stop. The market will shift. All of a sudden, there'll be a burst of buying activity. And those agents are like, really? There was a bump in the market? They didn't even know because they had given up. They were waiting to hear that the market had improved for buyers before they were working with buyers, and then the market improved and it went away again and they missed opportunities, right? That's one thing I would do. Now, if you want to do something else, I'm just showing you what's available in Matrix. And if it's not working on your matrix or whatever, and you're on my team, I'm going to throw that in, and you're on my team, or somebody that I'm working with, make an appointment with me. I'm pretty good at figuring out how these other Paragon and others might work, and I could show you how to do it. But there's other things we could do. But let me just, so I could do this all day. I think I could talk about this, but let's just go into what I'm really interested in, and that's the stats, right? Now, I was looking at the CRMLS matrix yesterday, and you have a stats button. It doesn't look quite like this, but it's kind of sort of the same choices. So let's say I was going to do, which I'm probably going to do, a Santa Clara County market update, right? What would I do? Well, I would start with Santa Clara County as the county. By the way, this isn't perfect. I've noticed sometimes there are properties thrown in that I know are not in Santa Clara County. Notice I could do MLS areas. Now, that's something you kind of need to learn, right? Like I happen to know that in my MLS, areas 1 through 23, mostly 1 through 19 are the ones we care about. Right? 23 is Los Gatos Mountains and not very many sales, but I'm just going to put in the county. I'm going to click on residential. I want to do single family condos and townhomes. Leave the rest of that stuff is just don't bother with it, right? And Santa Clara County, and then I'm going to go to customize. And by the way, this is being recorded, and for a nominal fee, you could look at it. And some people, by the way, will play it back and slow it down and, you know, go along and work it out. What I'm going to do is I'm going to pick custom. Now, these are all of the presets, but I'm going to do a market update for June 2021, right? That's the goal. I'm going to pick custom. I'm going to say I want June 2021 through June 2021. That's what I want, right? I'm going to, for statistics, and I always start at the bottom because I don't know, it's a mental health issue I've got, right? But I start there, and I want to know what are the key indicators that people are interested in. Number one, are sales going up or down? Number two, are prices going up or down? Those are the two big things. Now, there are a lot more things we can analyze, as you're going to see. And if you're analytical, this could consume a lot of your time. But what I do to start with is I'm going to break it down by building type. And when I was looking at the matrix used in CRMLS, it said property type, not building type. It's the same thing, right? So then I'm going to scroll down and I'm going to click on advanced options. I'm going to include prior years. I'm only going to do one, and I'm going to sort by 2021. Okay, right? I'll pause that for a second. Again, this is being recorded. And by the way, if you watched all 500 videos on my YouTube channel, you would see I've done this before. I'm going to click on generate. There we are, right? There we are. And it's graphs and charts. Now notice blue is 2021 and green is 2020. And there are a lot more sales. Now, of course, COVID was, you know, things weren't as, they've improved since June of 2020, you know. And by the way, sometimes I might go back several years. I'll show you why. Let me just do this while I'm here. So let's say I wanted to show a trend. I might do 5 years. And what you're going to see is that you're going to see that maybe I don't want 5. I don't have the patience to deal with all of that. How about just do 2, because I don't have to think as much. Notice that 2020 sales is blue, 2019 is green. So green is higher than blue, right? So 2019 was higher, but we're just going to do, I'm going to make this simple. We're just going to do last year compared to this year, right? The two things, and I'll show you, I've made a template that you guys can use to make images and put on social media. The two ways we oftentimes do this are month over month, year over year, right? I'm just going to do year over year because I don't have an easy way to do month over month. And then I'm going to click on data. And here's the data. Now, I'm somewhat lazy about this, so I'm just going to copy it. I could click on export as a CSV file. Why not? It'll save me from opening. All right. And then I click on this. I format it. I auto fit the column width. All right, it looks nice. It gives me those numbers. Right now, I'm going to fix this a little bit. Let me just show you what I often do, because it's less editing, is I copy this, Control C. I have to go back. Here we go. All right. And then I'm going to just paste it. And so sales number of building type 2020, 2021. All right, let's just go with that. And then let's go back. So that's sales year over year. Then I would go here to number of sales, and I would scroll down, and I'm going to do median price. And I'm going to click on generate. And then here's median price. And I'm going to copy that. And I'm going to go back. I'm going to skip a line. Sometimes in this one, I skip two. Right click, paste special. There's the median price. Median price is a more stable indicator than average, because a big sale, a bunch of small sales will throw it off. If you want to compare the two, go ahead and do average as well, and you'll see the difference. Right, there's usually a big difference. Copy that, go back here, right click, paste special. What's the difference? Okay, the average, oh my God, the average price of a single family home in Santa Clara County really was $2,130,932 in 2021 compared to 1.6 in 2020, right? Is that not crazy? Any of you, they're saying this is a big county, right? We're not talking about a neighborhood. This is a pretty big county. Notice the median price was 1.7 and the average price was over 2. We have some very expensive areas. Let me just say, right? Very expensive areas. All right, so I usually do this. I don't necessarily use all these, but I want to look at it. And by the way, let me go back to something, because I'm sorry I'm a little, scattered. I'm going to go back to number of sales. Let me just do this. So here are our sales. What I'm going to do for fun is, instead of building type, I'm going to look at sales, and I'm going to now sort it by sales price. And I'm going to click on generate. Now it's going to give me this chart. And what this shows, and that will sort of explain the insanity. Right click, paste special. So what, and by the way, you have to add 0. So that's 0 to 200,000. We didn't have any. 200,000 to 400,000. There were 4 sales, right, in that price range. But what this does is it shows you the breakdown. Where are the big price ranges? Look at this. 266 were in the 1.2 to 1.4, the 2 to 3 million, 282. I have clients right now, and we're offering in about 3.5 to 4. It's a tough market. 3.5 to 4 million, and it's a tough market. So you understand, when somebody says to you, so how's the market? The answer really kind of is, it depends. Right? It depends upon area, it depends upon price range. If I wanted to see, well, what areas are doing well, instead of dividing it up by the price, oops, up here, I'm going to, where did I do it? Group by sales price. I'm going to do it by MLS area. And I click on generate. And then this is giving me the major MLS areas. It only gives me 10 unless I tell it to give me more, right? And there'll be about 20. And by the way, one of the things when we talk about things you could post and stuff like that, sometimes I will do what are the top 5 areas for sales? What are the bottom 5 areas? But this is giving us, I don't really want to go down to El Monte, but I'll go to Alum Rock, copy that, and I'm going to paste it in, right? Paste it in, right click, paste special. So now I've broken it down by area. And I'm going to show you later how to instantly calculate who's doing better and who's doing worse, right? I'm going to be able to do that, but you understand the market is different depending upon the price range you're interested in. It's different depending upon the zip code. I didn't break it down by zip code, but you see I could break it down by all these different, there's a certain point where we have to say enough is enough, right? What other statistics might we want to look at? Well, we did average and median price, sales price to list price ratio. And I'm going to, usually I break things down just by building type. And what this is showing of the list price, what percentage did the seller on average get when they sold? Paste that in. Now, look at that. In a single family home's got about 10% over list price. By the way, in the area that we're battling in, which is the high end, the average is more in the 15 to 20% over list price. Some of you have heard me tell the story where we're bidding 500,000 over list price without contingencies, and we're not even close to getting the house. I might do price per square foot, right? I might look at that because it gives me a little bit of a different metric, right? How much are people on average getting per square foot depending upon their building type? Right? And I put this in. Now, if you're saying, oh my God, I hate statistics, I hate all this, or you're thinking people don't care about this. If that's what you're thinking, then I assume you don't work with any engineers, right? You don't got any engineers, right? Nobody in tech, no analytical types. I might also look at how many new listings there were, right? Hit generate, new listings, copy that, back here, right click, paste, all right? Go back, new listings. It tells a story. We also want months of inventory. One of the common ways of seeing how the market is doing is by how many months of inventory. And what months of inventory means, if we stop listing properties, how long would it take to sell the current inventory, right? Active listings. So we look at what how many active listings we have right now and how many sales do we have in the last 30 days. And how long would it take us to sell all those listings? And we're going to paste that in. Right. Now, we could keep going, right? For those of you that are waiting for expired listings, right? I've got agents saying, I'm going to work expires, the market's crashing, right? I'm going to work expires. There were 30 expired listings in Santa Clara County last month. Less than there was in 2020. I'm just saying. Right? Not a lot of expired listings. I usually don't bother with that. Days to sell median. Ooh, this is an interesting number. So the median days between when a property went on the market and when somebody made an offer, you can see we're in a terrible market for sellers. They had to wait 11 days if they had a condominium, 8 days for a townhouse and 8 days. Now, if for a single family home, if we change that to average, we're going to see a bigger number, right? And notice the numbers jumped. And that's because there's some properties that have been on the market a really long time. Just because we are looking at the statistic doesn't mean we have to use it, right? It just means we might want to look at it. What else is on this list? Number of active listings, number of contingent and pendings. I usually run all of these, contingent, pending, oops. All right. And then I'll do one more, and then I'll end this part of the torture. All right, active listings. All right. Copy, paste. All right. Right click, paste special. There we go. Now, this is going to be the basis from which I'll create a PowerPoint presentation. I don't like the RES dot in front of everything. I just don't. So I'm going to copy it. I'm going to go over here where it says find and select, replace. I'm going to drop it in. I'm going to replace it with nothing. Click on all, and I have now made the RES for residential disappear. Just made it all disappear. Now we're going to do another formula. Isn't that wonderful? So difference percent. This equals that minus that. This equals the difference divided by the old total. That's a second formula. It's sometimes referred to as DOT, D-O-T. The difference divided by the old total, right? That'll give us a percent. And then we're going to let them know it's a percent, right? Now that I've done that, I highlight those two using that little X thing. I grab it, I drag it all the way down here, all the way down, let it go. And there's a lot of errors because it's not all there. I highlight this, copy it, paste, 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 and paste. Then there's some junk, like this stuff here. Right click, clear contents, right click, clear contents, right click, clear contents, which is here someplace. And there's some numbers I probably don't need. Clear contents. All right. Cool. Cool. I don't spend the whole time on this. So what we're ending up with is a nice, clean little spreadsheet that has what's going on. Right. And then we're going to clear contents, clear contents. I did too many of these. All right. Nice, right? So if I were going to do something, let's say in I usually, and by the way, I could show you a finished one, which I'm probably going to do later. I'm going to pick on a new slide, table and contents, it doesn't really matter. I'm going to paste in that. Now notice, one of the things I like about PowerPoint is it's already suggesting something. And so I might just get rid of this. I usually do that before I get there, and I just say closed sales. Okay? And there's now, if I don't like, there's design ideas, which makes this easier. I could do it like this. I could do it like that. Once I've done it, I oftentimes will, you see, you get choices, right? And so let's say if I were going to go with this one, I would probably, this just shows my overly analytical nature. So what this is showing is that single family home sales, by the way, this is interesting. We're up 48% year over year. Condominium and townhouse sales up 127%. We're at 117% year over year. And I'm not going to spend a lot of time formatting, the PowerPoint presentation. If you want to see one that I did a while ago, just so you can see what it looks like, this is what it kind of looks like, right? Here's one I did in March. You can see, right? This is what it looked like, right? And so I might, and by the way, all of these could be saved as an image. You could make a PowerPoint presentation. I usually make a video. It ends with something, a picture, calls to action. All of that is just normal design stuff that came from PowerPoint. I'm not going to save this because I don't know, I don't want to. All right, let me just, oops. All right. So, all right, well, that's kind of special. That was maybe more than you wanted to know. But one of the things that I'm not going to spend a lot of time looking at, but what I'll just show you an example. I oftentimes, let's say I was going to do a post. I take this, like I'm going to get rid of this. Right? I'm just going to get rid of that because there's nothing there. What I would do is highlight this, go over here to sort, largest to smallest, expand the selection. So what this is now doing is it's telling me automatically which price ranges have had the largest increase in sales. Look at, it's the 3 to 5 million range, right? Which is why our median price is ridiculous, our average price is ridiculous. 5 million plus. Number two, 1.5 to 1.8, 1.4 to 1. You get the, 1.6. You can see where the increases are. And so sometimes I'll redo it just so if I were going to talk about it, I might want to just explain where are the big increases. So sometimes I redo it to show the ones at the top. For example, let's say I was doing MLS areas, right? I might ask the question, which MLS areas are doing the best? And so I'm going to sort large to small. Central San Jose, that's generally a lower price area. Berryessa is generally a South San Jose, lower price area. Santa Clara is starting to get up there. Saratoga, that's where we're being outbid at 4 million. Sunnyvale is a higher priced area. Cupertino, Almaden Valley, and then look at here, Milpitas is down 12%. Morgan Hill Gilroy is down 6%. That's maybe from lack of inventory. So one of the things you might do as a blog post are what are the 5 MLS areas or the 5 zip codes that have had the biggest increases in price or the biggest increases in number of sales year over year. Here they are. Here are the 5 that didn't do as well, right? Does everybody see what we're doing? And so that's why when somebody says to me, so how's the market in Santa Clara County? It depends. Are you in Milpitas? Or are you in Saratoga, right? It depends, right? Because it breaks down by geographic area, it breaks down by price range. And by the way, it also breaks by bedrooms and square footage and other things, right? But we're only going to do so much, Does everybody understand? That's one of the things you could do. You also will find your Association of Realtors has statistics. I'll bet they do. The California Association of Realtors will make this relatively easy for you. Did I already open this up? Maybe not. I got too much. Maybe I do. Here we go. So when you've logged into the MLS, let me see if I logged in. I'll log in again. You log into the MLS. you go to Industry 360, look at what you're going to find here. Data and statistics, current sales and price statistics. Some of their information is a little behind. In other words, if you just want to use, let CAR do the heavy lifting for you. Now, CAR is not going to do what price range is doing well. They're not going to do which MLS area is doing well, but they're going to do a county-wide statistics, and they're going to have infographics. That's not going to come out until next week, at least 10, 15, mostly 15 days into it. All right. You also can download buyer guides, which are slowly, and look at all the different counties, right? LA, so what this is, these are Facebook PowerPoint format, and this breaks down the different cities. And again, this is broken down by city, but you guys can spend some time looking at this yourself. You're going to see the CAR has a bunch of stuff, right? A bunch of stuff. NAR, our friends at the National Association of Realtors, have a blog. I've given you a link. Video, weekly economic and housing market update. Let's say you don't want to study. You want somebody to do the studying for you. This way. Watch this video. It comes out once a week. It's by one of their economists. It talks about what's going on in the market. It's got nice graphics. They give you actually a transcript of it. Weekly economic and housing market update. Weekly housing trends view. June 2021 monthly housing market trends report, right? The hottest housing markets. Does everybody understand? There's a lot of this stuff. And my suggestion is that you're going to spend some time, every day, maybe, certainly every week, just looking at the market. All right. KV Core. What's that? Well, if you're an EXP agent, and there's some other places that have this, if you're an EXP agent, you have access to KV Core. And one of the things that KV Core will do for you is they will allow you to create a market report. What does that look like? Well, here's an example. So I have this emailed to me every month. Look, you can see it went out July 4th. So if you set this up in your KV Core system, it would send one to you every month. Now, it doesn't break it down between single family and condominiums and townhomes. It doesn't, right? I don't even know if it's including condominiums and townhomes. But what does this report show? That there are 5,571 homes for sale in the last 30 days, right? So it's like a rolling average. New to the market, so that number is down 8.3% over the last 30 days. New to the market is down. Days on market, this is an average, is up a little bit. Average home price, this is a listing price, was 1,812. There were 244 price reductions. This is a 30-day change, which is 151% increase over what it was the prior 30 days. What does that tell you? Right, now, I know that a few months ago, there were very few price reductions. You can see the insanity of the market I'm in, right? Very few price reductions. But now there are a bunch of price reductions. When does that happen? Because people get the feeling that you could take the last sale and add 100, 200,000 and put it on the market, and you'll get multiple offers and sell it for 100,000 or 200,000 over what you listed it for. There's a certain point where buyers have had it, right? They just, no, I'm not going to do it. And I'm active, and I'm telling you, I've seen that where they're just like, no, we're not going to do that anymore. So that means the sellers overreached. They have to lower the price. Average sold price is the number is down. You understand? So it also shows some recently listed ones, some the most expensive. By the way, if you are going to do a blog or something on social media or make a video talking about the most expensive house in the market, or talk about the least expensive house in your market, and just show videos and chat about it, people are curious about that sort of stuff, right? And so this, by the way, if let's say you are an EXP agent, if you're not, talk to me, right? We ought to talk. By the way, for my friends down in San Diego, I was curious whether or not EXP would only give me a market report for my MLS. So I put in San Diego just to see, and it did it for San Diego, because obviously it knows what's going on there. So if you wanted to know how to do this, this is EXP's dashboard. Under lead engine, you go to build squeeze page. And by the way, what I've done, and you can see this one is San Diego. Here, I'll give you an example. Let me go into the Smart CRM. So if you want the really easy button, I got 2,000 people in here, something like that. Most of them, by the way, are agents. So here are these guys. How about this guy here? All right, we're gonna look at him. And so one of the things we could do is over here, we can add a note, send email, more actions, send valuation. I know that doesn't make sense because we're doing a market, what's going on in the market, but send valuation would be a, like a CMA kind of a thing. Okay, let me go back here. Send valuation, transfer, unsubscribing contact. They may have changed it. I think that's the right one, even though it doesn't make sense. Why not? We'll just try that. Yeah. How about we're just trying to see what it is. It's not a real one. So there's a way, and I would have to look at this a little bit, but there's a way, obviously, to set it up so it emails the market report. Here we go. This is what I was looking for. Add a market report. We would go in and we could notice we could have the market report sent every 7 days. We could have it sent every 14 days, every 21 days. All right. List anyhow. So we also could just do that, right? In other words, it'll give us a market report. You could have it sent to yourself every month, and then you can make a video or do something with it. You could have, if you know what market your people are interested in, you could have it automatically set up so it's emailed to them at the beginning of every month. You're done, right? Easy peasy, right? Just find out what area they're interested in, set them up, you've got something. You may have heard of Redfin, right? Redfin has something called market update or market statistics, and they'll tell you what's going on. Other real estate agents use a different email than your company email and go ahead and subscribe to all of your competitors' stuff so that they send you emails with market updates and things like that. I do that. I get them. Altos Research, which has both a paid version, I wouldn't bother with that, but it has free ones. So what we're going to do is request a demo, log in, Altos Research, squeeze more out of your leads, pricing, enterprise, product, market reports, real time, run a report. Ooh, that's interesting. What it thinks I'm in Gilroy, which is kind of close. Notice what it's given me just without me having to do anything, right? Now, here is a market profile. It's a strong seller's market. There's all this stuff. How would I use that? I would take my screen capture and use it to screen capture. And there's more stuff than you need. All of that, right? You just do a screen capture and you copy it and you can paste it. You can see where I'm going with this. There's lots of different things. RE Report, I'm not going to look there. It's a competitor to Altos. Twitter. So this is Twitter. And one of the things you're going to find is most likely your MLS and or your Association of Realtors has a Twitter profile. And I didn't plan this, but just in the last, I don't know, not 1 hour ago, this appeared on Twitter, San Mateo County home sales, second quarter 2021, right? Now, there it is, right? And they just posted it on Twitter. By the way, you're gonna find, I'll bet your Association of Realtors has one too, right? And then here's one for June 2021, right? Isn't that what we were looking for? Something that looks like that, right? And if this is just condos and townhomes and single family homes, it shows the different ones there. Easy, right? Easy to do. All right, so other things, what would you do? Well, you could make a video. You don't actually have to have all those graphs and things like that. What are people interested? Are sales going up? Are prices going up? Are days on market going up? And if, let's say I'm in KV Core and I want to send this guy a video, right? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go back here and I'm going to, or I could send a whole group of people. Look at these choices. Video message. I click on that. Now, I can't do it right now because, first of all, with the free plan, you get limited ones, but I could do a video and I could send it directly through KV Core and make a video. For those of you that aren't in KV Core and you're like, I don't know what I'm going to do, I'd like to make a video. There's a company called CalDRE, and you see this little thing here, which I've added. And for those of you that are interested in getting into this, if you're on my team or somebody I'm working with, reach out to me and I can show you how to set this up. But if I click on this, it says video email by CalDRE. It's not going to work because I'm already using the camera. But what this is going to allow me to do is to record a video, which it will embed in Gmail and allow me to send to people, right? There's another class on how you can send Gmail to a whole bunch of people. I could put the video on YouTube, right? I could put the video in a blog. There are a lot of things I could do with the video. So you can make a video, infographics, TMIRE. For those of you that are in my coaching program and are on my team, in the document library, there's a thing called TMIRE, which stands for This Month in Real Estate. And I've updated Alameda County and Santa Clara County, but these are PowerPoint. This was designed in PowerPoint. And look at all that we have here is month over month, year over year, sales and price. Now, I've made a video where the only thing on the screen besides my talking head was this. And it's just like, hi, Mike Devlin with the Michael Devlin Group. This month in real estate, July 2021, we're looking at what happened in the home sales and home prices in June of 2020. As you can see, sales are up 66% year over year and up 10% month over month. So sales are growing. That's for condos and townhomes all included. Prices up 19% year over year, 2% just from last month. That's the median price. Does everybody say, I could make a short 3-5 minute video. We borrowed the mortgage rates from like bankrate.com or something like that. So once you've got the data and you've done something with it, you could put it on social media, you could email it to your database, you could blog, you could YouTube, you can make a podcast. You also need to think about, what does this mean? Is there a bubble? Are prices going up? Are going down? And one way you could know that is by reading real estate news. I'll bet wherever you are, there are major publications, newspapers and such, that have a real estate section. I'll bet there are, right? I'll bet there are. And I'll bet they, like today in the San Jose Mercury front page is an article. How do I know that? I was at, like Starbucks or something, and I saw it, about rents in San Jose starting to go up again, right? You might want to subscribe or check those out so that you can explain what's going on in the market. And as a plan, you might want to schedule 30 minutes to an hour a day studying what's happening in the market if you have that much time. Prepare us every week, have in your mind, what are you going to say when somebody says, so how is the market? Can we get access to the list of items? Actually, I just woke up early. I wish somebody would have pasted that in for me. I was hoping somebody would help me with the pasting, but everyone, how about that, right? All right, so that should be the list. All right, so that I know was a lot of stuff. If you are a professional real estate agent, you ought to know what areas are doing well, what areas are doing bad, what price ranges are doing well, what price ranges are not doing well. You ought to know that and be able to have conversations with people. And if you're on my team and you want to put together something and you want my help, hey, I'm willing to help you. I'll even talk slower. How about that? When I'm helping you put this together. All right, good enough. If you need me to volunteer in your office for an hour so I can stop by and help you, well, we'll talk about it. I don't know. Talk about it. I certainly need help. That's all I've got for today. Don't miss tomorrow. Don't be burned, right? There's a bunch of laws about and disclosures regarding fire hardening and getting properties ready for fire seasons and things like that. New disclosure requirements. We have an attorney with Property ID, does a great presentation. That'll be tomorrow. Don't miss it. If you need any help, want to talk about increasing your business, being on my team, talk about EXP, any of that kind of stuff, reach out to me. I got nothing better to do. I'd love to talk to you. All right, guys, be safe out there. Talk to you later.